What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Acts of Creation. Now, we've thoroughly gone through the new Fear Inoculum album, so let's go back and check out some tracks, some older tracks that we haven't checked out before. And I want to talk about Crawl Away today from the Undertow album. I am in a drop D tuning. Down in the description below, you can find a link for the tabs. Let's jump right in. So the track opens up with this little melody. Right? So, and then the main riff comes in. So we're going to be on the D string, the G string, and the B string. Basically, you're going to be outlining this little chord right here, a major chord in second position, or F sharp major. And we're going to slide up to the F sharp from the E at 2 to 4. And then we're going to go back up to that third fret, back down to the 4. And jump up and grab the high note. Okay, we're going to go through that a couple times. And then you hit the bend the 2, open G, and then the main riff kicks in. Okay, there we go. So basically you're kind of hammering on from 2 to 4, and it's a pretty simple and straightforward riff, but you know, typical Jones playing style, there's some little intricacies that make it more difficult than you want it to be, right? All right, some quick little 16th notes, some in and out palm muting, some dead notes, all right? So I kind of like to play it where I palm mute that 2 and repeat that 2 to 4 movement, right? He could just be playing a dead note, or he could be muting the 4th fret. But I like the vibe or the feel that the repeating that 2-4 movement has. And then you're going to repeat that riff and slide up to 12th fret. Okay? And on the turnaround or the end of those riffs, there's that little quick up and down 16th note. Dead notes. Same riff, just the ending is different. Muted open. 10, 9, 7. And then we're going to go up to basically 14th position. Drop down, repeat the riff, go back up to the octave, and then you're going to go back up to 14. Right? And then you're going to play 16 and bend that up. And then we're going to go with a little melody here. Right? And so you play 16, 14, you do that again. Then hammer on 14 and 16. Give it a little half step bend and a little artificial harmonic. And then the 4th phrase. Right into the verse. The guitar breaks silence or breaks out for a little while, nothing going on, vocals kick in, and then he's going to kick in with the main riff, except it's single note style, and you're going to come in on the fill 10, 9, 7. And here, again, keep it muted, bring your dynamics down a little bit, and you can do that by not picking as hard. You don't even really have to change anything, especially, you know, these older tracks don't have the really high gain that some of the newer tracks have, right? There's less gain on those older albums, right? So single note, and then when you go up to the 12th fret, hit that power chord, but then hit single notes. Kind of subdue it a little bit. Right? And then you have that. Just build up on the 4th fret, back to the main riff. Nothing new there. All of it's the same. And then after that fill, right, we have that little post-chorus, chorus. I don't even know what section of the song it is, right? But you're basically, the timing is a little tricky because we move from a 4 to a 9-8, 10-8 kind of feel. And it's 4, 7, 10, 9. Right? And you just kind of chug on that 9. Watch out, because the first time he plays this section, he kind of plays harmonics there on the 1st and 3rd repeats. But it's 4, 7, 10, 9. And then right into that main riff. And again, watch out for that 4th repeat because it goes from 9-8 to 10-8 or 5-4, however you want to think about it. So there's an extra chug there. All right, and then we go back into the main riff. Are all of that repeats? No, that's not what happened. He actually plays like single note riff, kind of pinch harmonic-y, almost, I don't want to say like a lead or a solo, but he plays it more like, all right, it's more of a melody, that he attacks it more like a melody than it does the riff. Now, I like to play it there. Typical Jones, he's probably playing it up in 16th position, but personally, I tend to get a better pinch harmonic in the 9th position. Right? So, again, it's the same rhythm. Right? But again, he's mixing in a little pinch harmonics there. Maybe throw on a wah as a filter to give it a little bit of a boost, like step up, right? And then after you play the octave, again, you can either slide up to the 16. I just get a better squealy in that position on 9. And then bend the 11, a slow bend, back to the verse. And that's when the guitar breaks out again. Okay? Verse kicks going, kicks in, he starts singing again. It's the same thing. And he's got that one little variation on it when the single note muted part comes in. He does one of those. 2 and 4, 2 and 4. And then everything else in the verse is the same. The build-up's the same. The main riff is the same. The post-chorus is the same. Except when he's doing this, I don't believe there's harmonics on that section. Right? He's just kind of chugging it along. And then coming out of that, then we get to the breakdown of the song. And again, I'm not repeating that kind of main riff just because there's nothing new there, all right? It'll be notated in the tabs, and you can see what I'm talking about. So coming out of that, we have the breakdown. Right, 2, 5, 5, 2, 4. You do that 4 times with no picking in between everything. And after the 4th time, you do a slight little pick scrape there. This is love. And he gets that. It's the same breakdown riff, but he starts adding like that. They're 30-second notes, but that's only because the tempo is not high for the most part of the song. It's a low tempo, like 80 or 90. So when you play those speed picking riffs, they're actually notated as 30-second notes. But it is pretty fast. It's the same riff, and you're just filling it up with that, 4, and then he breaks out to this just long picking section, right? Single note picking. And you're basically going to do 2 measures of the 4. And then 2 measures of the 16. And as you get to the tail end of that, release the palm mute, open it up, and then you're going to go 4, 11, 12, 9, 11, 2. Right? And you have that kind of motion. So when you try to pick again, it's always groups of 4. Think 16th notes. Chicka 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 chicka, right? It's that speed. I wouldn't tremolo pick it. Right? It's a little sloppy at that point. And then again at the end of it, kind of hold up and you kind of give a good vibrato, let that note hang out and feedback, because you're going to do that kind of a lot in this section of the song. Jones kind of spaces it out, lets the band play, and this note just kind of feeds back. After a while, that note kind of feeds back. You bring in the those upper chords, and you just kind of hang on there, and these notes feed back a lot. And there's gonna be that one moment where you're gonna hear this awkward sus chord that he plays there, that 14, 14, 16. Like that, right? So after he plays those chords, and again, the notes are gonna hang out for a while, there some feedback, and you're basically coming to the end of the song, and it's the main riff single note, the main riff heavy, the main chorus riff, the end of the song. Those notes feed back, and then you're gonna come back to that. That whole main riff, all that repeats, and then coming out of that, end of the song. All right? Not a lot to it, but again, those small intricacies in the muting, the percussive notes, right, make it a little more difficult. Playing live, you'll have an easier time, or just cranking up your amp a little bit. The holding out the note, the 16, and giving it vibrato and occasional bends, it'll sound better live in a live situation, because then you can play with the feedback a little bit and emulate those sounds that Jones is getting on the record. And then obviously the picking, the alternate picking can be difficult if you're not used to doing that, right? Just slow it down, and again, groups of 4, and they are 30-second notes like I mentioned before. Try to pretend, or when you're playing it, try to, like a drummer would accent beat 2 and 4, boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, right? Put that into your picking. Right? That's going to help your internal sense of time and give it a little bit of groove. Right? I love this song. One of the great old songs from Undertow. Really fun to play. Aggressive style. It's a little different from their newer kind of drawn out kind of feel that they're going on. Down in the description below, you can find a link for the tabs. As always, let me know what you come up with. Until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.